This video is brought to you by my two books, Practical Music Theory for the Rock Guitarist and The Blues Guitar Bible. Want to learn about modes, harmony, scales, chord substitution and keys? Or maybe you're interested in supercharging your blues guitar rhythm and lead chops. Whatever you're interested in, I guarantee you will be hitting the fast lane to progress with either of these works. Both feature video demonstrations and tutorials, loads of tabs and jam tracks to play along with, and I promise you, everything is explained in crystal clear plain English. Check out the links in the description for more details. Hello chaps, welcome once again to John Robson Guitar Tuition. As always, I do hope you're well. It's Wednesday today, which means that we're doing another track from my upcoming vanity project of an album that I'm putting together. I have no illusions about this, kind of requiring me to rehearse a Grammy acceptance speech or anything like that. It's just something I'm getting out of my system, basically. All the tracks on the album, as you probably know, are named after dog treats. We've had things like gravy bone and chicken feet and stag bar and a whole number of things. This is the 8th track from the album, and once again it is named after a product you can buy in our local pet shop emporium, entitled Buffalo Neck. And here's a little bit of an explanation about what was the sort of processes that I went through in order to put that little ditty together.
Here is the explanation.
Right, so as usual, I like to think in terms of a song being built out of essential components, building blocks, if you like, a verse, a chorus, and a bridge. And I sort of stuck to that here, but the bridge is also doubling up as the intro and the outro as well. And that was actually the first part to come with the song when I was writing it, because normally when I think of the title, for instance, Chicken Feet is another one of the tracks on the album, that just made me think of like funky dancing kind of thing. So I start, that little riff there, which is kind of inspired by a little bit of Life in the Fast Lane and a couple of other things. But I just knew for that one, Chicken Feet, okay, feet, dancing, funky, that kind of thing. And I came up with that whole sort of train of thought from there. But I was struggling with a title like Buffalo Neck. So I just decided to do a little bit of alliteration, which is basically where you take the syllables of, whatever it is your title is, in this case, Buffalo Neck, and make a riff out of it. Hence, Buffalo Neck. That was like, I thought, just a cliched little thing in A. And then play about with some syncopation. And then the old sort of descending C down to B, back to A again. So you got then through all of that again, and then instead of that descending thing there, it was I thought, let's go for some really mad sounding chord, which was that one there. It's basically, I don't play the bass note on the actual performance because the bass player can do that when I have my bass player hat on. But if we look at that chord, it's an F note, a C, another F, and then the three open strings, top open strings, G, B, and E. So if my calculations are correct, that gives us an F major 7 sus 2 sharp 11. There you go. And the purpose of a chord like that, the reason why I wanted a chord like that is because, as I've said, I do like my modulations and key changes. And I'm thinking, let's go from sort of an A blues kind of thing for the intro, which I also ended up using as the bridge, into, maybe somewhere like C sharp minor, which is where I ended up going. And the thing is, because this chord where the riff finishes is such an unresolved kind of left hanging, kind of swinging in the breeze kind of chord, subliminally the listener, I think, I don't have any proof of this, but to my mind, the listener is then grateful for a nice solid tonality to land on. It helps that there's a note in this chord, the E note, which is also in this chord, so I'm possibly kind of using the common tone between those two chords to resolve. And then the verse section, which starts on the C sharp minor, it's just basically an exercise in borrowed chords on modal interchange. For instance, I'm going C sharp minor to F sharp major. Okay, that's the 2 and 5 chords in the key of B. So you play that. Reminds you of an old instant mashed potato advert from the 70s. That does me anyway. For mash, get smash. That one. But the C sharp minor to the F sharp, 2 and 5 chords in the key of B. So if I'm thinking of C sharp minor as the tonal centre, the centre of gravity, then that's kind of giving it a Dorian thing. Then we go up to the A chord, which that's now more kind of C sharp natural minor. Like that. Okay, C sharp natural minor is just the key of E major. Okay, E, F sharp minor, G sharp minor, A, B, C sharp minor, and the D sharp half diminished. So that A chord is coming from more of an E major key, C sharp natural minor. And then let's borrow a chord from C sharp harmonic minor, the G sharp 7, C sharp harmonic minor. Is that scale there, same as the natural minor, but it's got a raised 7th. There, like that, and that gives us that G sharp 7 chord. So the first half of the verse chord sequences. Then back to C sharp minor again. Then I decided I wanted something to like ascend here. So I go to a B chord, but I play the first inversion with the third in the bass. B over D sharp, that takes me to an E. So then it's just a case of making it turn around and come back on itself. I knew that I was going to be going to a different key for the chorus, so I thought, well, let's kind of preempt that. The chorus is going to be in G. So, like, which two chords lead into a G quite nicely? C, D, G. But that C chord and that D chord also take you nicely back up to an E chord, okay? The reason for that is that C and D are in the key of G. G is also can be viewed as the key of E minor. So, I'm essentially borrowing the C chord and the D chord, which would normally take us to an E minor. I'm borrowing those and going to an E major tonality. It's the old kind of, just think crazy little thing called love. In a different key, but you get the idea. And then instead of going to the E major, it goes to the relative minor of E major, which is C sharp minor. So you can easily pull that one off, kind of C to D to C sharp minor. It resolves there perfectly well, nothing at all wrong with that. So, let's say you wanted to go to an A minor. The relative major of A minor is C, so you could go kind of A flat to B flat to C, and that you could easily just kind of make that C into its relative minor of A flat, B flat, A minor. It's just a nice little way of making a chord sequence kind of, it's a cadence basically. So that's the verse chord sequence, goes like this. And round it goes. And as I say, that C and D chord take us into the G major chorus, which is just really kind of pro forma stuff, really. It's just G, D, C, 3 times through that, and on the third time it goes G, D, C into an A minor, just putting the relative minor in there just for a little bit of variety. Borrowed F chord, from, you can think of this as being in G Ionian. And then grab the F chord from G Mixolydian. Now this chord is the next one. I'm starting to think, well, how the hell am I going to get this to go back to C sharp minor again, and resolve there for the next verse? Well, this is where we encounter the very useful properties of the diminished 7th chord. The diminished 7th chord is like a musical hyperspace button. You can use it to teleport yourself to a distant key, and you don't get much more distant from G major to C sharp minor. The thing about diminished 7th chords is they have 2 properties, okay? The first property is that they always want to resolve up 1 fret. So if I play an F sharp diminished 7th, like this, that wants to resolve up to a G. And the other property of a diminished seventh chord is that they are what we call a symmetrical chord. Symmetrical chord is simply a chord where all of the notes are the same distance apart. So the notes in that F sharp diminished seventh are F sharp, A, C, D sharp, and then you're back to F sharp again. And that's the arpeggio going up the neck. So because if we map those notes out, F sharp, A, C, D sharp rather, and then up to F sharp, okay, you can see it's always an interval of 3 semitone. Okay, what that means is that an F sharp diminished seventh can equally be thought of as a C diminished seventh. No one note is sort of the anchor point really of saying this is the root. An F sharp diminished seventh chord contains exactly the same notes as a C diminished seventh chord. So if that chord will go up to there, up to the G quite happily, it will also go up a semitone from the C perspective to C sharp minor. And that's basically how I manage the change from the G major verse back into the C sharp minor chorus. As I say, it's a musical hyperspace button. You can teleport between distant keys with a chord like that. I don't like using them too much because it can sound a little bit sort of cheesy 80s neoclassical metal when you do that. But every now and again, they are just that handy little thing in the toolbox to make something resolve back to where you want it to go to. So those are the two chord sequences, the verse and the chorus, and then everything else, when it's not doing that, it's just that kind of buffalo neck kind of riff. Kind of thing. In terms of the melody going on over the top of this, well, you know, you've heard me say this a million times now. It is just pick notes from the chords. Okay, so let me see if I can remember the verse melody. Yeah, so C sharp and E from the C sharp minor chord. A sharp from and F sharp from the F sharp minor chord, and then where did I go after that? Landing on the C sharp note there in the A chord, and then the D sharp there. That actually arrives over the A chord, that D sharp. It's a really dissonant note over an A chord, but it's not hanging around there, and it's taking us to the C note, which is in the A flat, G sharp 7 chord. Beg your pardon. So that's how I'm kind of putting melodies together like this. I'm just thinking of notes from the underlying chords, and you know what I stitch them together with is basically, well, we mentioned that this chord sequence here has a little bit of Dorian, a little bit of Aeolian, a little bit of harmonic minor in it. So I'm not trying to chase me tail playing through all of those scales. I'm just thinking, right, well, okay, C sharp minor, think C sharp minor pentatonic as the connective tissue which holds up those chord notes together. And to give you, I don't know if this is just my perspective, but this is my perspective. Maybe it's the same for everyone. But if I've got a chord sequence that I'm happy with, I'll invest much more time in doing the chord sequence, because if I get that right, the melody pretty much writes itself. You know, once I know where my chord notes are and I know how I'm going to phrase it, it just basically falls together. The hardest melodies to write are always the ones where you don't have a chord sequence that you're initially happy with. So it's or a riff or whatever accompaniment you're playing over. Get that right, and it makes the the job of putting a lead part together much easier. It's no coincidence, I think, that I mentioned this before, that many of the more melodic lead guitar players in the canon of rock music also tend to be, if not the main songwriter, but one of the main songwriters in the band. So there you go. That's a brief, how long is it? Yeah, not that brief overview of how that track came together. Why not have a go at writing something yourself along the same lines? So just, as usual, go away and have some fun with it. And as always, you'll find a full tab for the entire piece of music in both Guitar Pro and PDF formats, along with a clip of me playing it, a jam track for you to try out playing over yourself, and that explanation that you've just seen there. All of that is up on my Patreon page. There's the address, link in the description. You know this by now, but I'll mention it anyway. $3 or roughly £3 a month gets you access to all of these wonderful goodies that go along with these YouTube videos. And of course, a massive, heartfelt, humongous thank you to everyone who supports me in that or any of the other ways, all of which are down there in the description. And that's pretty much it for today, folks. Hope you've enjoyed the video, and if you've watched to this point, thank you so much for hanging around till the end. If you enjoyed the video, like, comment, subscribe, all the rest of the usual sort of stuff that YouTubers have to ask for. And yeah, don't forget the live stream every Friday, 5 PM UK time. We drink beer and talk about stuff, basically. Beer and chat on a Friday. Great way to kick off the weekend. I'd love to see you there if you can make it. But for now, I'll bid you all a good day and say thank you so much for watching. Thank you for your time. Look after yourselves, folks. Stay well, stay safe, and above all, stay sane. Bye for now.